Are you ever wondering, where does all my time go? Yes, we've heard the saying, everybody has the exact same 24 hours in a day, 7 days a week. But some people seem to get so much more done with their time. And it makes us feel inadequate. Or maybe it makes us feel lazy, which I think is ridiculous. I doubt that the problem is laziness. Maybe you think, well, maybe I've got a problem with procrastination. Or maybe people are stealing your time. Now, I'm going to reveal to you the 3 people that are actually stealing your time, whether you know it or not. This is a good news, bad news situation. Bad news. Don't shoot the messenger when I tell you the 3 people that are stealing your time. Good news. You'll be able to fix this on your own, okay? Won't have to wait for somebody else to change. That's the good news. All right. So, in case we're meeting for the very first time, my name is April Bragg, and I am a life coach, and I help Christian women live, love, and lead with confidence. Well, it's really hard to live, love, and lead with confidence and with great enjoyment when we have no time, when we're always rushing from thing to thing, and we're always cleaning up other people's messes, and it always feels like it's our job to fill in the gap for everybody, okay? So, if I asked you who are the 3 people that are stealing your time, I'm pretty sure that the answer that most of us want to give is this: my husband, my children, and my boss. That was my answer 15 years ago. I'm like, where did it go? My husband needs all my time. My children needs all my time. My boss needs all my time. As long as it is your husband, your children, or your boss stealing your time, then I can't help you. That's the bad news, okay? But what if it's not that? What if it is actually the guilt version of you, the guilty you, the perfectionist version of you, or the confused version of you? And that's where most of your time is going. Let me tell you a little story. Years ago, I was in my house and I was looking out the second story window down to the driveway, and my little son, who was probably 4 at the time, and his cousin were playing. And by playing, I mean they were, sometimes getting along, sometimes fighting. So my son is sitting on a tricycle. He is 9 months older and almost twice the size as his cousin. He has got possession of a tricycle. And as I looked out the window, I watched him lose possession of a tricycle to his younger, smaller cousin. His cousin did not steal it from him. He did not have to force him. He did not have to pick him up off the tricycle and take it away from him. No, my son actually had to yield it to lose it. He had to give it away. He just lifted up his hands. He didn't stop it. He gave the tricycle away and then got upset. And I said, shouldn't have gotten off the tricycle. Now it's his turn. I do not get the Sympathetic Mother of the Year award, but it created this picture in my mind of, oh my goodness, this is what I do with my time. I own my time, whether I realize it or not. My time is mine to steward. It is not my boss's to steward. My boss does not get to tell me what I do with my 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. He might get to decide what I do during the hours that he employs me, as in he might get to set my priorities, but he does not control my time. My husband does not control my time. My children do not control my time. But it can feel like that when, number 1, I let my guilt self give away my time. So this is what guilt me looks like when I'm giving away my time. I feel like if anybody besides me has a need, then I should respond to it. And I should respond to it right now. I should do all I can. Like, let's say you're like, oh, it's important to me to spend quality time with my kids. Okay. That's a very common thing that people come to me with. I'm like, great. What does that look like? And they stop and they're like, well, that just means that anytime I'm available, I play with them. And it's like, okay, why would that be the measurement? Anytime I'm available, I play with them. See, when we think that, then we simultaneously feel like we're never giving them enough time and we never have time to ourselves. But what if we said, hey, this looks like, at certain times of the day, they've got my full attention. At other times, I teach them to play independently or watch a TV show while I go take a shower. I put them to bed an hour early, so I have an hour to myself. What does quality time look like? Maybe it looks like I am not on the phone when I'm with them. But if you just make it a vague, well, whenever I can, I just am available to them for whatever, then that's guilt. I had a woman that came to me and she's like, I feel guilty because I have 3 teenagers and also I have this business that I'm trying to run. And I said, great. All we need to do is set boundaries. What does being there for your teenagers look like? And when she took the time to get specific, she said, it looks like, for example, me going to games, but maybe not practices. It looks like me showing up for this, showing up for that. And that is me being there for them. Great. Then we do the same thing with a husband. Same thing with the boss. Is your boss paying you to think about his business and the frustrations 24 hours a day? I did this mistake. When I started working, I just took on the boss's problems as my own. So I took them home. And I was thinking about them at the dinner table. There's not enough money in the world that he was paying me to think about his problems at the dinner table. I'm not even sure that he was thinking about his problems at the dinner table. So guilt has us just giving all of our time away. And when we're not feeling guilty, we put boundaries on. Wait, what does it look like? What is the time that I want to invest in this? What is the time commitment that I did make to my boss? What is the investment that I want to make in my marriage? Date night, what does this look like? My children, when I say I want to be there for them, what does it look like? Another specific example is, and this changes during seasons. Like for me, I remember a couple of years ago, it looked like me taking a nap in the middle of the afternoon because I picked up on a pattern that my kids wanted to talk to me. If they wanted to talk to me at all, they wanted to talk to me after 9 p.m. And I'm like, okay, I've only got about a year to max with them. So I'm going to start taking a nap in the afternoon so I can stay up a little bit later and be available for those conversations. Some of the best conversations, precious memories there. Okay. That is not letting guilt take away all my time. Okay. All right. Perfectionist me steals my time. Perfectionist me, it feels like it's never good enough and it's never done. This could be anything from laundry to a project, working on a coaching business, or working in your career, working on a ministry at church, throwing a baby shower. Perfectionism, it's not, writing a research paper. I have a couple of friends that are working on their doctorate. Perfectionism could be always working on it and never calling it done. How do you solve for that? So we solve for guilty me by getting specific and setting boundaries. We solve for perfectionist me by getting specific on what done looks like and what is good enough. Okay? Because this one is really me right now because I'm writing a book and it's like I could just nitpick on this thing all day long, forever, and never release it. But what does done look like? And I decided it looks like a certain number of words, and it looks like as good as I can get it by a certain date. My rough draft will be done by a certain day with a certain number of words, and that'll be as good as I can make it. That's what done looks like. So perfectionist me steals a lot of our time. This could look like if you're still doing I had a client one time that told me she was still balancing her checkbook. She was spending hours a month making sure that it went down to the last 10 cents. And I said, well, number one, how much is your time work? And number two, how many times have you actually found a bank error? And she was like, well, I've never actually found a bank error. And what do you mean? What is my time worth? And I'm like, well, if your time was worth $20 an hour, you're spending $80 a month balancing your checkbook. 80 times 12 is 960. That's almost $1,000. In case your bank might make a $5 error, maybe there's a simpler, faster way. But perfectionism, she'd been taught to balance it all the way down to the last penny. And so that's what she was doing. And she decided, wait, that's not important. I just want to make sure that there's not false charges. And I can figure that out by just a few seconds a day or a few minutes a week. So that's what I'm talking about, is how much of your time is going to perfectionist you. How much of perfectionist you is stealing your time. Okay, so that was guilt, me stealing my time by giving it away out of guilt, like there's never enough. It's like the Cookie Monster. Never enough. Perfectionist me, always doing it, never questioning, the cost to benefit ratio, or never defining what done or good enough looks like. Good, better, best. Always never let it rest. Till your good is better than your better, best. That's great. But when you have a lot of things that you're managing in your life, we do not need to be perfectionist about every single thing. We want to be high excellence about the few things that matter most, like our primary relationships or our ministry, our career, things like that, our health. Okay, so the third person stealing your time is this: confused you. This is the person that is afraid of making the wrong decision, so we keep all of our options open. Or this is the person that knows what we're doing, we just don't know where to start. So this happens a lot to entrepreneurs and small business owners and teenagers doing homework after school. Where to start? You kind of wander around because you just don't know where to start. How do you solve confused you? Number one, you make sure there's not decisions that need to be made. So are there any decisions that need to be made that will kind of eliminate some confusion? Or two, is there some planning ahead we can do? So here is the biggest confused you that I think women struggle with. What is for supper? What is for supper? What's for supper? What's for supper? And it can be weighing on our mind and slowing us down. Well, we could do takeout. We could do fast food because we have ball games. I hate to do that. Did I thaw anything out at home? Is there anything we can cook fast? Oh, there's so many things, but nothing sounds good. It can burn a lot of our energy. It can steal a lot of our time. So I like to make decisions about it and plan ahead. So in this area specifically, one of the things I advise my clients to do is just create a default meal plan. This is what we eat on Mondays, unless we have a better option, unless we change our mind. This is what we do on Tuesdays. Have a 7-day meal plan, And so you're always knowing the night before, oh, Taco Tuesday. So I need to get out some hamburger. I need to get out some things. We've got these. There's a grocery list that's already made, already shopped for. We decided ahead of time. Now, this does not preclude that we can change it. We can switch a meal, but it's so much easier when we have an idea of what we're going to cook. Do you see how that works here? Planning ahead of time. Decisions. If you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, this looks like having a plan for your day before the day. As in, what am I trying to accomplish this week? Here are the projects, here are the tasks, and also what am I going to start on? What's my to-do list for the next day? There's many things that we can do this. But the important point to make is this: confused me will take so much time to decide what to do versus once I have already decided what to do, maybe I have a habit or routine, maybe I'm following a checklist. Tasks take half or a quarter of the time. Huge time savings. Huge time savings. Can't tell you how much confused you is stealing so much of your time. All right. So, my question is this: which person, which version of you steals the most of your time? Is it guilty you that just keeps on giving away all of your time because you feel guilty about using it or stewarding it yourself? Is it perfectionist you who really just struggles to let things be good enough? They always have to be great. Or is it confused you that takes a long time to decide what to work on next and it always feels fatigued from making too many decisions instead of planning ahead? I would love to know. Put them in the comments, send me a message, share with me which one has been stealing your time. Or maybe it is your boss, your husband, your children. If that's the case, I mean, if you really do believe that, no, I have a good grasp on my time except for this one person, that is a relationship issue that needs a boundary. And we can talk about that. So I'm going to put in the notes, but you can go to my website, aprilbragg.com, and book a clarity call if you want to figure out how to solve your time issues, or get on my email list because I'm going to be doing a training soon about break free from busy. And if you would like advance notifications about my upcoming book and a free chapter, it's called Fundamentally Flawed, Letting Go of Fear Without Losing Faith, then I'm going to drop that link in the show notes. So I hope this has helped. Let me know who's been stealing your time. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.